Hello and welcome to Paranormal Chronicles. I am your host, Joe Miranda. Today's episode is Dark Manifestation, Part 1. Now, before we go any further, I just want to make it very clear that I'm a flawed man and I'm a sinner. I give God all the glory. I believe Jesus Christ is my Savior. And I renounce Satan. However, I never ever underestimate his ability to blind minds, eyes, ears, and hearts here on earth. This episode is a perfect example of that interference. I mean, this will be my second go around to try to put this episode in the can. For some reason, the initial recording had no audio. So hopefully this time around we'll be able to get it right. Now, in the previous episode of Creek's Edge Road, I did indicate that I would be doing 2 more episodes regarding manifestations. Now, I do have an entry, and that entry is from the 5th of May, 2019. And in that particular entry, I stated 5/5/2019, 11:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. While at Bears Best Golf Course driving range, I sensed an extremely negative entity on 3 separate occasions. The energy I experienced was so oppressive that I had to move away from the hitting station multiple times. Fortunately, I was at the far left station and could distance myself away from the individuals that the entities were attached to. One of those individuals was someone who worked in the pro shop. I noted I had interacted with him on a couple of occasions previously and did not care for the energy that he gave off. The 2 other men who were in their late 50s, early 60s, I had never met before. Now, what must be said is I am extremely sensitive to energy. I can sense amazing energy. You know, that kind of energy that, when you hold a newborn infant, or you're around young kids, they just have this amazing energy. It's positive, this warm energy about them. I can sense neutral energy. It doesn't really register with me. It just, it's just neutral. And it doesn't, like I said, doesn't register at all with me, which is fine. I am very, very sensitive to negative energy. And I mean, it hits me, and it doesn't matter if it's someone that brushes by me or from a distance. I can sense when there is negative energy around. And I don't mean to disparage the people that negative energy is attached to. I just sense it. And because of that, I try to make myself scarce, and I try to get away from it as quickly as I can. Because, like I'm sure with a lot of people, that negative energy or the negative entity that energy is coming from drains me badly. And I'm very susceptible to it. Now, with that said, when I came home from the driving range that day, I came home and I took a power nap, and around 4:30 later that afternoon, my friend Kelly came over, and she was going to have dinner that night. And I met her down in the parking lot of my condominium complex. And when she greeted me, I remember her looking at me strangely, and she asked me what was wrong. And she said, I looked mad and out of sorts. Now, I denied it initially, but, I'd woken up from a short nap. I think I got home around 3 o'clock that afternoon, 3:30, and I took a short nap, and I attributed my mood to that. So I put in my journal, I had just woken up from a short nap and attributed my mood to what Kelly was referencing. And then I put in my journal, my mood through that evening did not improve, and I admitted later that I actually did feel out of sorts. Now, also followed up with, I had an impression to take a video that night, but decided against it as I was tired and extremely sore from hitting golf balls earlier. So, with that said, I decided that I would make that video I had an impression to make the following evening. So there's an entry in my journal from 5/6/2019 at 8:38 p.m. And I put in there, I took a video, Kelly M was present. We both sensed that something was present at the time and made reference to it several times in the video. Kelly M made the statement during the video that she felt something cold down by her feet in the hallway leading to the master bedroom. Now, with that said, I took the video, and what happens a lot of times as you're taking a video, there may be things that you don't pick up on while you're taking that video, but when you go back and you review the video, you either hear something through the audio or you'll see something when you replay the video. And that's exactly what happened in this case. I think it was around 45 seconds into the video, I made a statement that I could sense something. And when I made that sentence, I stuttered. And ever since that particular time, I made it a point to pay attention because I typically don't stutter. And there have been several occasions, and I think it's happened on this podcast several times too. And I will state that, or make the comment that I have an entrance portal right here in this room where I do these podcasts. So I've noticed that if there is an entity that's affecting me, there'll be times that I'll stutter. And that's a telltale for me that there's something present. Now, like I said, 45 seconds into that video, I stuttered. And I will be putting a portion of that video at the end of this episode. So I will say this, whoever's going to watch the video, I will warn them, if they don't believe in God or Jesus Christ, they don't have the same protections as those people that do. So I would recommend that they don't watch that portion of the podcast because I don't know how all this works. I don't know if that makes them susceptible to that entity that's on there. I don't, again, there's no book on this, but I will make it very clear. And I hope to make it very clear that if you do not have protection from God and Jesus Christ, that you have to be very careful because you may open yourself up to something. I want to make that very clear. So during the playback of the video, there's this manifestation, and where I took the video and what I'm looking towards is where the entrance portal into my condo is located. And this manifestation comes out of the lower right-hand corner, and then it manifests itself. It starts out small, but then it grows in size, and the best way I can describe it is it takes on the shape of like a manta ray, and it shoots off to the left, and it heads in the direction of the window in the living room. Now, when I made the episode, the very first episode, the in-body experience, I made reference to that, whatever that was that came over me as it was leaving. It pulled through and out the bottom of my feet. And in this situation, in this case, it went off to the right in the direction of the window that was in my mother's hospital room. So that's at least two occasions that I don't think it's a coincidence that they moved in that particular direction. So with that said, I did notice that they moved in the direction of the window again. And what I saw in that video made a very big impression upon me. And it's actually what led to me getting involved in paranormal investigations, because I wanted to know just exactly what that was that manifested itself in that video. And I actually reached out to a group that did paranormal investigations. They couldn't explain what it was, but they knew that they saw something. They saw the same thing that I saw, but they couldn't explain it. And what I say to people all the time is that if you can't tell me what it is, you most certainly can't tell me what it isn't. And I'll just leave it at that. Now, when I go to a driving range, I have a particular routine that I follow. And I had several driving ranges in Las Vegas that I would go to. Bear Best being one of them. But whenever I would go to the driving range, I would enjoy a beer. And after the lunch hour or right after my lunch, I would crack open a beer and I would enjoy it. But I still would practice 2 to 3 hours longer so I can metabolize the alcohol. I never wanted to drive home intoxicated. I didn't want to obviously get a DUI, and also I did not want to put up other people in harm's way, and I didn't want to put myself in harm's way. So I made it a point that if I ever had a beer at the driving range, I gave myself a couple hours to allow it to metabolize, which I always did. Now, as I made reference to in Creek's Edge Road, I definitely think that there's a correlation between extreme alcohol consumption, the taking of prescription drugs, illicit drugs, and again, I believe vaccines. I don't know what's in them. I think that alters people's ability to fight off negative entities. I am very convinced that it plays a part in either demonic interference or demonic possession. And a single beer, that's not going to lower someone's inhibitions. But extreme alcohol consumption, absolutely. Prescription drugs, I don't know how it works. There's no book on all this stuff, but I believe it does. Illicit drugs, goes without saying. Again, I'll refer back to all the YouTube videos I've watched with people that have had interactions with police officers, and it's tragic in a lot of cases. So, the reason I'm sharing this is that people have to know how to defend themselves and how to ward off negative entities, because the world right now is inundated. All you have to do is look around you. There is craziness going on beyond crazy. And there's a reason for it. And I also believe there's a reason that the powers to be want it to take place. So, with that said, I want people out there to be aware. Situational awareness. If I can get people to look at this a little bit differently, there's more than just negative out there. I mean, also the amazing and beautiful things that are presented to us that we don't realize are truly miracles. The gift of life is a miracle. The gift of consciousness is a miracle. The fact that God gave us free agency is a miracle. I want people to be more aware of what a gift life is, but also I want people to be aware there's pitfalls and there is going to be trials and tribulations. But one thing we don't want to do is open ourselves up to dark entities, dark manifestations, because it's been my experience that you can really open yourself up if you're not aware. And self-awareness is a big thing. So that is one of the things I hope to accomplish with this podcast. Obviously, the other goal, God wants his flock back, and I want to try to help bring people closer to God. You know, to give yourself over to God's will, it's an amazing thing, and it's liberating. Now, as I also stated in Creek's Edge Road, there are 3 examples. First example was the father of my friend's girlfriend. You know, a professed alcoholic, someone who had done drugs. His inhibitions were lowered. There was a manifestation there. Then we had Creek's Edge Road. Unfortunately, the murder-suicide of Stefan and Joy Strunk. And then the events that unfolded at Bears Best golf course was a foreshadowing of things to come just 25 days later. All right, today is May 6, 2019. It's approximately 8:38 p.m. Kelly is here with me. Say hi to everybody, Kelly.
Hello.
Yesterday, especially, I was out of sorts, and Kelly can attest to that.
That's true, I can.
I did sense something. I don't know if it came from the golf course with me. I did sense a lot of negative energy there that came in with a few golfers. But that's the first time in a long time I had to do any kind of protection incense, and I did, much to Kelly's chagrin, where she thought it was quite strong, if that's the right term to use, is it?
It's very strong.
Yeah. So